Welcome back to another living tip. Right now, I'm doing a series on your purpose and how to get the purposes identified and you putting your energy in your purposes so you start to feel alive. And a key component of that I discovered for me was understanding how to organize around my purposes. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of a deep dive on organize. And as you know, what I do is I pick up the dictionary and I dig into the words so that I can understand what it is I'm supposed to do. And I do a long story on how I looked at the dictionary for my answers, but let's forego that right now and let's just get into taking a look at the word organize and what I discovered about it. So I'm going to do a PowerPoint here so we can walk through what I discovered on organize and you can see it. So we have the word organize. It comes from two different words. It comes from the word organ and it comes from the suffix ize, which we're going to talk about in a second. Now the word organ comes from a German word ergon, or excuse me, a Greek word ergon, which means to work. Okay. Now there's two definitions of work I want to separate right here. One definition of work is to toil arduously. Like, wow, it was a lot of work to clean out the garage, or digging that well was a lot of work. It means we had to exert a lot of effort. That's not what I'm talking about. The next definition I want to look at with the definition of work is to function properly. Like my car works, or if your car doesn't work, you take it to the mechanic and you say, I need my car to work so that it functions properly so I can get into it and get to work and go pick up my groceries. And so what we're looking at is how do we make our life function properly in relationship to our purposes. So that's the area we're focusing on. Now, the other word is ize, and that's a suffix that turns nouns into verbs. So you take the noun organ, which means to function properly, and ize, organize, is to make things function properly. It's the action of doing that. We look at another word as an example. We have social and socialize. If somebody's social, means they get along with the people that they live with the community. And if somebody is not social, we have to work to socialize them. It's the action of making somebody social. Civil and civilize, it's the action of making something or someone civil. Okay, so organize is the action of making something function properly. Now, there was another definition that really opened my eyes on this. Okay, I'm sorry. So forgot my next PowerPoint. So really the definition of organize here is the action of making things function properly. Okay, and you've probably seen people that organize for the sake of organizing. You know, you go to their house and they want all the towels in one location and you open the refrigerator and everything's just in straight rows and don't mess anything up. You can't mess anything up. Magazines are stacked neatly on the coffee table or on the rack where the magazines go, and you get one out to read it and they go, no, put it back. You can't mess anything up. That's not really organization. The whole purpose of being organized is so that the purpose can function. So you're going to be using those things. It's not just having everything in the right place. Okay, so it's the action of making things function properly. And what I'm talking about today is making your life function properly. Now we'll go to my next PowerPoint. There was another definition where this really came together for me. And this was sort of an aha moment for me when I was trying to figure out really what does it mean to organize something. We have the word organ and the suffix "ize." There's another definition for organ, and it's a biology definition. It's a specialized definition I was reading, and it is organ as in the organ in the body. And the organ in the body means like tissue. Now think about it. Put this up here. All the lung tissue are in the lungs. All the heart tissue is in the heart. The liver tissue is in the liver. And if we had a body where heart tissue is in the lungs and liver tissue is in the pancreas and pancreatic tissues in the heart, our body wouldn't function properly. A lot of people's lives are like that. All the like items are a mess. You can't make them work. But if we look at what happens with the body, we have this like tissue, which is an organ. And then we sequence it through the body so that one organ flows to the next organ and flows to the next organ so the body functions properly. And when we get sick, when the pancreas stops working and stops producing insulin, we get diabetes. that organ's not working, it throws everything else out. When the kidneys don't clean the blood starts to get backed up with poisons and toxins in them. It starts to hurt the rest of the body. When the liver doesn't filter the blood and make the antibodies, it starts to mess up the rest of the body. So we need all those like tissues put together so they function, and each one of those like tissues has to function properly in a sequence to make the body function properly. This was basically my aha moment on this. So I came up with this. The definition of organized for me is the action of sorting like items and like actions and sequencing them to function properly. I'm going to jump out of here for just a second. I talked about the fact that we have this formula for living that I looked at, which is right here. It's your energy into your purposes creates you living. What we're talking about here is your energy. Because when you're disorganized, you're spending a lot of energy on things that are not your purpose. Now, let's just take something really simple. You get up in the morning and you want to cut an apple for breakfast. And you go to where the knife's supposed to be in the little butcher block thing where you keep your knives, and it's not there. So you open up the drawer where the silverware is, it's not there. You open up the dishwasher, it's not there. You look all over the counter, it's not there. You can't find the knife to cut your apple. And you just spent 5 times as much time trying to find the knife to cut your apple that you should have. And you wind up digging around and going all over the place. And then you open the refrigerator and there's the knife stuck in a piece of cheese in the refrigerator. You or your roommate or your partner or whoever it was didn't put the knife back where it was supposed to be. You had some disorganization. You just exerted all that energy to fulfill the purpose of cutting the knife, but because you weren't organized, it took a lot more energy than was required. Now that's on a micro scale, but same thing, if you're disorganized and you get up in the morning and you don't have 2 matching socks and you have to spend time digging through the laundry basket to find 2 socks that match, you're not organized. I know people that when we get to the checkout stand to pay for something, they reach in their pocket or their purse or whoever it is, guy or gal, I don't care. You reach in and they're starting to pull money out and it's all wadded up and it's all in different, it's not sorted out in any way. A very simple piece of organization I have is my paper money goes in my right pocket, my coins go in my left pocket, my wallet's in my left back pocket. My paper money is sorted from the largest bills in the back to the smallest bills in the front. So I can go right through and I can just pull out the bills and I know exactly what pocket I need to go in and pull the things in. Now that may sound ridiculously detailed until you stand in line with someone pulling money out of this pocket and that pocket and the back pocket, and they're trying to put it out on the counter and see what they have. And the bills are all crinkled up and they're trying to straighten them up to see what's going on. And you sit there and you got to wait for that person to pull the money out of their pocket and you realize how disorganized they are. The truth of the matter is you're not going to be able to achieve your purposes in life if it takes you 10 minutes to find a fork in the morning. So how you organize your life is going to depend on how much living you're able to do and how much energy you're going to be able to put in your purposes. Because you're putting so much energy into the fact that you don't have the like items and like actions separated out. Now, different places I learned this to the craziest degrees. I grew up starting when I was 16 years old running milk routes, and I had to keep my milk truck organized or I would get in an hour later, an hour and a half later every day because I couldn't go in the back of the milk truck and pull a quart of milk and a quart of buttermilk and 2 cartons of cottage cheese and a pound of butter and put the order together to take it in the store and get it stocked in. So I had to keep things organized. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to achieve my purposes, which were to get home, get a shower, go out and see my friends, do what I wanted to do. I was down loading the truck all night. That's what I was doing. Same thing with a lot of the adventure activity I had. I used to love to go sailing and scuba diving. And in order to do that, I would have to get off work on Friday. I'd have the boat ready to go out Friday evenings. I rented a boat to do these things. I put my team together. I'd have to have all my clothes for sailing, which are foul weather gear and sweaters and then swimsuits for the day and all that. So I'd have to have all that packed ready to go, all my scuba gear ready to go. I'd have to get to the house, get it in the car, get down, get all that on the boat. We'd have to get the food on the boat. We'd have to leave, get over, have everything go for the weekend, and then get back, get everything back, wash all the scuba gear, get the salt off of it. Otherwise, it's all going to corrode. It's going to get ruined. I had to be organized in those actions and those items so I could achieve my purposes. So bottom line on this message is this. I'm going to do more on this next time, specifically on your purpose. If you want your life to work, and by work, I mean function properly, you need to organize it to do so. Okay, we're going to do a little deeper dive on this on the next living tip. I hope this will make sense to you. I love getting your feedback, so send me a note if you like it. See you next week.